let's move on to topic number 2. So, Will, I'm going to throw this over to you. The NFL offseason, with the draft over, is just about done in terms of all the transactions and stuff like that. But one of the main questions we like to debate on this show is which teams got better, which teams got worse, which teams' moves did we like, which teams' moves did we not like. So I'm going to throw it over to you and ask, what were your top 3 most improved teams from the start of the 2021 offseason to now?
All right, I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1, and I'm going to give you 3 teams, and these are my 3 teams right now. At number 3, I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. I like what they did during the offseason. First of all, they give Tua help. You know, Tua, I thought, had potential, but he didn't live up to it last year. He didn't at all. So what you need to do is surround Tua with talent because they didn't have a lot of talent at the wide receiver position. You get Will Fuller over there, a guy who still can play, had a hell of a year on Houston. Obviously, injuries are a concern, but he's a speed wide receiver that can blow the lid off the defense. You get him. You also get, I believe they also got Matt Suka is now the Dolphins starting center. And now you combine that, what they did during the free agency market and what they did during the NFL draft, getting a guy like Jalen Waddle, who I think is the best wide receiver, who will be the best wide receiver in the next couple of years out this draft class. This is a guy that he can take it to the ballpark. He's a home run hitter. That's him. You know, and Tua has a lot of help. You build around Tua. I also like the offensive lineman that they did take in the draft as well from Notre Dame. That's a guy that is going to be starting. So now you got offensive line protection. You got wide receivers, weapons for Tua. You already have a good defense that is coached up by a defensive-minded head coach in Brian Flores. I think they got better. At number 2, I'm going to go with the New England Patriots. This was the year of Bill Belichick's revenge tour because he went out and spent. He didn't do the Patriot way. He said, you know what? The Patriot way, we're going to put you on hold, and we're going to evolve to modern times. And we're going to go out there with the space that we have, the cap space, and spend and go on a huge shopping spree like we won the damn lottery. Getting a guy like Nelson Aguilar, getting Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith, who had a breakout year last year, playing second fiddle to A.J. Brown. He broke out last year from the Tennessee Titans, just like I predicted too. And you got him over there. You running 2 tight end sets. You got, you know, wide receivers. You also got Kendrick Bourne. You also got Judon as well. And they did their main dirt. They did their main dirt during the NFL free agency. The draft was all right, too. I like the draft. Obviously, Mac Jones. Now you throw him in there with Cam Newton to have a quarterback battle. You get yourself a quarterback, and you're good money. So the Patriots is up and running. And at number 1, I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 1. I think that Urban Meyer bought himself a new team. One of the luxuries that the Jacksonville Jaguars had was they had the number 1 cap space in the NFL. I believe it was around $73 million in cap space, and they had the draft capital. So I didn't think they did anything to say that they messed it up. I like the moves that they made starting in the offseason, getting a guy like Marvin Jones, a wide receiver who had a good year with the Lions. You got him over there now. You also got Shaquille Griffin, Seattle cornerback. He's going to be starting alongside C.J. Henderson. So you got a secondary, a defense that was terrible last year that already is going to get better. I also like what they did with getting Philip Dorsett as well. Obviously not the big playmaker, but you can still throw him in that offense. And I like their draft moves. I like what they did during the draft. I like the creativeness. I like Trevor Lawrence, obviously. That's your Peyton Manning of the future. That's your Tom Brady of the future. You have him, and you don't ask him to be the savior. No, we're going to draft Travis Etienne, so we're going to have a 2 running back system because you also got Robinson over there. So you got a 2 running back system. He doesn't have to do much. Play action as well. You also got, I heard they working out Tim Tebow. I don't know how that's going to work.
He's going to be trying out, yeah.
Yeah, they looking like they're going to sign him to tight end. I don't know how that's going to work. It is an experiment. It's going to take a lot of creativity. There's going to be moves that Urban Meyer makes that we're going to sit here and scratch our head, but it might work. And I'm not a big Carson Wentz guy. Even though the Colts is the favorite to win, outside of the Colts, I don't like the other teams in this division. I think they got better, and I think they will make noise in this division. So those are my 3 teams right there.
Yeah, just a quick thing about Jacksonville. Just a quick name to watch. They, in the third round, took a kid I actually used to go to day camp with by the name of Andre Sisco, safety from Syracuse. The kid is a playmaker. Watch out for him because he can play. But those are all really good picks. But I have a couple of the same teams, a couple other teams. Let's go. Miami, number 3 for me. I agree. I really like what they did. I think that Jalen Waddle was a pick that a lot of casual football fans will see and say, what? They drafted Jalen Waddle over Devontae Smith, who won the Heisman Trophy and dominated college football all of last year. And nothing against Devontae Smith. He's a fine player. But people don't realize that Jalen Waddle, at least pre-injury, and he looked at least good enough to play in that national championship, was just the more explosive player. I think the more pro-ready player. And I think Miami, if they could use him right, that could end up to be a really good pick. Tua played with him at Alabama, so I'm going to agree with you there. My number 2 team, right? Sometimes in the offseason when we do these winners and losers, most improved teams, we tend to find the team that has the team that signs the most names and the team that, spends the most money. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. My number 2 team, to me, is a team that they didn't really make that many splashes, but I love their draft, and I think that they just filled a lot of holes, most notably on the defensive side of the ball, and that is the Cleveland Browns. I was really impressed with what these Browns did in this offseason. Look, Jadeveon Clowney, he's a guy that I've criticized a lot in the past, and I get it. Former number 1 overall pick, and look, he hasn't necessarily lived up to the hype. But at the same time, when you sign this guy to just be a piece to your team, a guy to be a part of your defense of that unit and not to be the end-all be-all guy, I think that's a guy that could get pressure on the quarterback and do some work and improve that defense. They also really improved their secondary, bringing in John Johnson, one of the more underrated safeties in the league from the Rams, and Troy Hill. And my number 1 winner from this offseason is actually the defending AFC champion, Kansas City Chiefs, simply because, look, they were a win away from the Super Bowl back-to-back last year. They lost 2 games all year, and we know better than anyone will. Why did they lose that game? Besides, the Bucs were a great team, all that. That defense, Patrick Mahomes had nowhere to go. And the fact that they stole Orlando Brown from their rival, the Ravens, I can't think of a move that is more impactful than that. This whole offseason, they also draft Creed Humphrey, a center from Oklahoma who's been starting since his freshman year. Big fan of his. Kansas City is another team. Look, they didn't necessarily make all the splashy moves, but they also brought in Joe Thuney, very good offensive lineman from New England. So I think that offensive line, which was their weakness last year, just got better. The Chiefs, my number 1 winner of the offseason.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick comment about the Browns. I like the Browns. And I think that was one of my notable nominees is the Browns, first team out of my top 3 because I like what they're doing. I like what they're building. And I don't think there's a team other than probably your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you can argue the Chiefs, that has more talent than the Cleveland Browns. I would actually put Cleveland Browns right up there, if not number 1. They have talent on both sides of the board. You mentioned Jadeveon Clowney, who hasn't lived up to the lofty expectations that he had come out of college, but he's still a quality player when you take into consideration that he will be playing alongside Myles Garrett as well. So you talking about a defense that was solid last year that will get better this year, and I like what they have offensively. I'm not sure Baker Mayfield is the answer, but if he can build on how he left us in that AFC divisional round, if he can build on to that, they can do some things in the AFC, the Browns.
Absolutely. What do you think about Kansas City, though? Do you think their moves were as impactful as I think they are?
I don't think it's as impactful as the teams that I listed or the teams that you listed outside of them because of other reasons. But I do think, in general speaking here, they did get better. That's for sure. I did think they upgraded. I just don't think it was significant where they are a totally different football team. I just think they got better.